on Midday News because we are focusing on relationships, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And today we are talking about children and how to recognize abuse. Lois Rice is Executive Director of CASA of Johnson County and Wyandotte County. That stands for Court-Appointed Special Advocate. And Lois, tell us a little bit about really what your group does. Many people know you, but explain.
Well, CASA uses trained volunteer advocates who advocate for the best interest of children who have been abused and neglected. And these kids are under the court's protection. So our CASA volunteers talk with the child, family members, other interested individuals to provide information, critical information, to the judge so that the judge can make important decisions about where the child should live, what kind of educational, therapeutic, or psychological help that child might need.
So these are children who have been victims of very bad relationships.
Definitely. They've children who have been physically abused, emotionally abused, neglected, and children who really are not able to remain with their caretakers, and so the courts have to intervene to protect them.
Yeah, you do such a great job, and we just really commend the work that you're doing. Let's talk about the emotional abuse. We have some points that we really want to make here that we have about emotional abuse of children and how we recognize that. What is it?
Well, emotional abuse can run a gamut of behaviors that the children are exposed to. One may be insulting on an ongoing basis. If that child is given insulting or criticizing remarks, such as "you never are able to do this," "you're always, messing up." Maybe even rejecting, saying "I wish you were never born." Things like that on a not just once in a while, but on an ongoing basis, that the child hears this over and over and over again. It could also involve things like humiliating the child in front of others, as well as terrorizing, telling them things like, "If you don't behave, the police are going to come and take you."
Oh, sure, threats, yeah.
They're very serious threats.
Right. And what does that do to a child? I mean, it just...
It terrorizes them. It causes things like very low self-esteem, depression. So it finds that they're unable to trust others many times and constantly doubting themselves and their worth, their value to themselves and to others in their community. So
it would be easy if we hear someone doing this constantly, we know we can step in, but how do we recognize it in a child that we may not see all the time, but we see? Are there signs that we can tell?
There are signs. Some things to look for that the layperson can keep in mind as they're interacting with children. One may be overly compliant. If the child is just always wanting to follow instructions without any questioning. Again, the low self-esteem. Habit disorders such as thumb sucking, biting, bedwetting. Some of those things may potentially be indicators that there's some serious issues going on.
And if this kind of thing is happening, your organization is one place that people can call.
They can call us. We would get involved when the determination has been made that it is so severe in that environment that the child can no longer remain in the home. I would think if someone was wanting some information about a child and had some questions about where the family could maybe get some assistance, the United Way of Greater Kansas City has a 211 number that is really easy to remember and can be very helpful in, depending on where they live in the city, what services they can make available to them.
Thank you so much for coming and that great information. Lois Rice with CASA. We'll have that information on our website as well. Thank you. Here's Brett.